Assalamu guys, Irfan back again with another video. And in this video, what we are going to be looking at is how to remove spaces in Excel. Now, these spaces could be at the beginning of a cell or at the trailing end, at the end of a cell. The data is stored in a cell. And we'll also look at what leaving those spaces in, what problem it causes us. So let's get started. Over here we have an employee database. Okay, now this has the employee codes, has the employee name and the salary. We may have copied and pasted this from an ERP software or from a database, from a web-based database. The intention, what we have to do is we have to bring in the names and salaries of these selected employees. And the way we are going to be doing is we'll be applying Vlookup to bring in data from over here into here. Okay. Okay. So we will be using Vlookup to pull in information from this database in here. Okay. So let's get started. Vlookup. We're looking up this code in this database, 2 columns, and I am going to lock this range. That's this range here, so I can drag this formula down, and we ran into a bit of a problem. Now, what's happening is this gentleman here with employee code SD214, that's this one here, that pulled through, but the others did not. Okay, now let's see why that is happening. If we go here, doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary, but there seems to be a space at the beginning. Okay, we'll say okay, what we can do is we can use the trim function to get rid of the leading space. Okay, so let's put this in here, and now, oops, sorry, hang on. I'm going to drag this down. We've got 3 more hits, but still 2 misses. Okay, so what's happening here? How come the trim did not take care of this? So let's see what's happening here. There's no space at the end. There seems to be a space at the beginning, but did we not put a trim function here that should have taken care of that? Well, it didn't. And let me show you why. Because this space that you have here is what is known as a non-breaking space. Okay, I'm just going to pull up Microsoft Word and show you what I mean. So I've got this text type in here. Okay, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog is an English language panagram, a sentence that contains all the letters of the alphabet. Now, notice how the word lazy is on the first line and dog is on the second line. Now, supposing what you want is you want lazy dog to be on the same line. Okay, so if I click here, what that will do is it will show dots for spaces. Okay, and this funny Q symbol for the enter key. Okay, now you see how after lazy there's a space and then dog. Because this is a regular space and there's no room left for on this line, it took it to the to the word dog to the next line. Okay, but supposing we want to make sure that the word lazy and the dog are on the same line, so what we do is we get rid of this space, hold down the control key, shift key, and then hit space. See how this is a different symbol that you have. Now this is what we call a non-breaking space. Now if I click on this again to hide the deformating marks, you see this appears just like a regular space, but it's not. It's what is called a non-breaking space. So let's go back to Excel. Now the regular space has an ASCII character of 32. So if I do this, that's a space, and a non-breaking space has a character code of 160. And they both look the same. Okay. If I were to just copy and paste it as a value, so I'll get rid of the formulas but leave the value behind. That's a space. That's a space. And so is this one. But this actually is different. So if I want to get back the ASCII code for this, I just use the code command function. Okay. See how this is a regular space and this is a non-breaking space. Now the trim function takes care of this, the regular space. This it will take care of. Okay, but the non-breaking space trim function cannot handle that. Right? So what we are going to do is we are going to use another function, and that's called the substitute function. Okay, and what we will do is we'll substitute out this space, the non-breaking space. Okay, so what we'll do is we will modify this formula. Okay, I'll leave the trim in there, and we'll just put substitute that's the text that we are going to be looking for. This character code 160. What are we looking for? Character code 160. And what do we replace it with? Nothing. So I close bracket. And I hit enter. Now if I were to put this down, it works. Right? Now we only half done. Now let's use Vlookup to bring in the salary as well. Do Vlookup, and there you go. Now we have run into the same problem here because over here we did, trim worked. So let's do in fact, let me just copy the formula from here. All right, and we lock this range. And you see how we got the values show up now. Okay, now if I do a summation of the salaries, what happens? Oops, sorry. I'm getting a 0. Okay, that is because even though we got rid of this kind of space by the trim function, we got rid of this kind of space using substitute, but because of the space being in there, Excel still thinks this is a text. It does not treat it as a number. Okay, so if I were to take this and multiply this by 1, I get a value error. Okay, because it's actually thinking of it as a text. Now if I were to put this within a value function, it's still giving me the error. So now we need to dig deeper and see why is it not let, even though we did what we did over here, why is it still giving us an error? Okay, so what's happening is if we come over here, let's look at John Holland. John Holland is this guy here. This is the salary. There's a space at the end. There's a space at the beginning. Okay, so in this, it's when we are doing a VLOOKUP, we did this part here. What that did was it took care of the spaces, either the regular spaces or the non-breaking in the code, but we did not have that for the salary. So now what we'll do is we'll wrap this in a trim function, and then we put a substitute old text, new text is nothing, and close bracket. Now if I were to drag this down, now this should be without any spaces. Now if I were to put this within the value function, now that's the first number that I fixed, so the sum is now picking up this, but now this it still thinks is a text. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this down, and now we've got a function, a total salary. So that's basically how you would get rid of spaces in text, either if the space is at the beginning of the text or at the end of the text. And also, if you have numbers with text, this is how you would get rid of the numbers, the spaces at the beginning, at the end of numbers. And then you have to use the value function to actually convert the numbers into what looks like a number, but is actually a text, because Excel is treating it as a text. It converts it into a number, and then you can do your arithmetic, your adding and subtractions, right? So that's essentially how you would get rid of your spaces, unwanted spaces in Excel. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.